we need a sub-goal in the global goal on adaptation that strongly advocates for youth inclusion and youth participation in every decision, as well as in producing the NAPs.
We're calling on countries to urgently step up to deliver on doubling adaptation finance.
Being there in the decision-making room is one of the challenges. Another issue is the issue of capacity, coupling those finances with the skills. Many young people have the capacity to innovate, but then the legal capacity, the business management capacity sometimes is not there.
Finance obviously follows thereafter education, but entrepreneurship and decent jobs to begin with is key for our youth to drive adaptation, for them to see an incentive.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Youth Adaptation Forum. Today is the World Waters Day. My name is Adriana Valenzuela. I lead the Youth Leadership and Education Program at the Global Center on Adaptation, and I am delighted to welcome all of you to this forum. It's the second forum organized by the Global Center on Adaptation. GCA is an international organization, and we work as a solution broker. We consider that young people are strategically important to accelerate the adaptation agenda. And for that, these forums provide a platform to exchange good practices, learn from experts and young change makers implementing adaptation solutions. I am delighted also to welcome our co-host. This forum is co-hosted by Salim Stokke. He is from the Netherlands and is one of the members of the Youth Advisory Panel, and also from Sofia Barbeiro. She's from Portugal, and both of them, they have been selected from young people from all over the world. Welcome, Salim. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Adriana, and a warm welcome to everyone joining us from around the world. I'm Salim Stokke, 24 years old and a Dutch Ghanaian graduate in crisis and security management. One of your co-hosts, as Adriana said, and I'm connecting from the Netherlands. Please make sure to let us know in the chat where you're connecting in from today. And yeah, I'm very excited to hear from our speakers. Here in the Netherlands, the babies learn to swim before we learn to walk, because there's water all around us. So I try to take our water insecurity of my country with us in this forum. And now back to you, please.
Fantastic, Salim. And also we move to another country that is around a lot of water. Sofia, you are from Portugal. Welcome.
Thank you, Adriana. That's right. Welcome, everybody, to the forum today. I'm very glad to be here to co-host this forum along with you and with Salim. My name is Sofia Barbeiro. I'm connecting from Lisbon, Portugal, a coastal country, as you said, that is forward-looking into the ocean. I'm a member of the Youth Advisory Panel to GCA CEO and also project manager at the Sustainability Program of the Kalus Gulbenkian Foundation. I'm looking forward to the discussion today, to sharing with you my perspective on the role of water and more particularly the role of ocean to climate adaptation efforts. So please all feel free to use the chat box and contribute to the discussion and to introduce yourselves too. Thank you.
Thank you, Sofia. We have participants from all over the world. We received registration from over 98 countries. And also I want to welcome all our speakers. We have speakers that will be sharing their experience. We have speakers from Mexico. Then we will move to Europe, and then we have the Netherlands, we have Portugal, we have Sweden. We will also move to Africa. And in Africa, we have experiences from Mozambique, Benin, and Malawi. And we will continue traveling to the world, and we will hear what is happening in Indonesia. And a special welcome to all our speakers. And also, we have one of the global experts working on water and adaptation solutions. I am delighted also to welcome Ose Johannessen. She is a senior researcher at Deltares, but also she's part of the Global Water Partnership. Welcome to all of you. And today we are here at the Youth Adaptation Forum discussing the topic about water. And when we are talking about water, we are talking about life of people and life of the planet. And there is a very strong interconnection between adaptation, climate change, and water. And why? Because many of the climate change impacts are related to water. For instance, sea level rising, we have more severe drought, floods, and many people are living still with water scarcity. I want to share with you some key statistics. Today, we are living in a planet where 2 billion of people don't have still safe access to drinking water. But as well, 1.4 billion people are living in areas of flood risk. And in addition, half of the world population is experiencing water scarcity. And we are here today to discuss with experts and young people how we can tackle these problems and how we can empower every person in the world to be part of the solution. Then to all our speakers, then I want to mention the speakers that we have. We have Cindy Dwi Islam from Indonesia. Cindy, welcome.
Hello, everyone. I'm Cindy from Indonesia, and I'm going to share something about our project related to water. And yeah, thank you.
Fantastic. And then Ariel Coltin from Mexico. Welcome, Ariel.
Thank you, Adriana. Very happy to be here.
And we will go to Daniel Cotto from Benin. Daniel.
Hi, everyone. My name is from Benin. Really happy to be here. And happy day, everyone. To be there.
Excellent. And we have Ulaya Malawi from Malawi, and he's one of the winners of the Youth Adapt competition. Welcome, Ulaya. Ulaya, we cannot hear you.
Hello, everyone. Sorry. So I'm Ulaya Mali, and I'm happy actually to share with you our journey at sustainable water irrigation and farming technologies, in short script.
Fantastic. And also we have Nelio from Mozambique. Nelio, welcome.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Nelio.
Okay, good. Maybe I will turn off my.
Hello, how are you? Oh, sorry, Daniel.
Yes, I will maybe turn off my camera to have.
Excellent, Nelio. We are also very glad to have you.
Hello, how are you? Nice to meet you. Thank you to invite us to talking in this important forum. My name is Nelio Zunguza. I'm from Mozambique. I'm as Executive Coordinator for Youth Climate Action Coalition in Mozambique. And nice to meet you again. Thank you, Adriana, sorry. And thank you all of your team.
Fantastic. Thank you to all of you, and especially thank you to all people from around the world that are joining us today. Please continue introducing yourself using the chat box and tell us where are you from, what are you doing, and how you are contributing to tackle climate change. To start with this forum, I would like to hand over to Salim to start with a Mentimeter. Salim, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Adriana. Yeah, we're gonna start with a Mentimeter, and the first question of you have to go to mentimeter.com. There you enter the codes 81, 62, 37, and 52. And then let me see, the first question is, what challenges do you face to become leaders in water adaptation? Thank you.
And then the invitation, remember, you can use your own mobile phone. You have your mobile phone, you just type the code and share with us. But then to start the conversation, in the meantime that people scan the code or use the number 81623752 to use the Mentimeter, then I would like to pass the question to you, Salim. What challenges young people and especially young leaders face in the water adaptation agenda? What do you think, Salim?
Yes, a very important question, Adriana. And when I think about it, I'm very happy to see that there's more increased youth involvement everywhere in decision making. But we are missing sort of a lack of recognition very often. We're not always valued by other stakeholders. And besides that, we're facing institutional barriers and lack of financial resources. So to answer your question very directly, I think what we need is effective communication strategies, how to get that, and we need active financial support that is sustainable and not just incidental.
Thank you. And we can see here in the Mentimeter that there are also, they refer to limited access to resources, the lack of awareness, limited spaces to participate, lack of access to not only financial resources, but I think also materials that can be used. And funding is one of the crucial points that young people are mentioning, institutional and individual capacity. And please continue just sharing these responses with us. There is one, like I mentioned, tailor-made programs related to water. And then to continue with this conversation, please feel free, in the meantime that you include your responses. Then Sophia, what do you think are these challenges that young people are facing?
Thanks, Adriana. Yeah, I agree with Salim. I'd say first thing they need, or if we think in challenges or resources that we could be giving to youth, for sure, funding, financial resources are a key one. Whether it's for them leading their NGO or actually if they want to create their own startup within the water, whether it's on ocean protection or freshwater systems, for sure. So helping them become entrepreneurs in that area, if that makes sense. And a second point is actually the recognition that young people can actually deploy solutions within this realm. So along with financial resources, we would include the not only capacity building, but the social acknowledgement that young people can and will contribute to solving the problems and the challenges that we face when we talk about water and climate adaptation.
Fantastic, Sophia. As you mentioned, we need to change the narrative. We need to move from seeing young people as victims or as beneficiaries of different programs to change makers. And now we will move to know more about what is this interconnection between water, climate change, and adaptation. And thank you very much, Ose, for joining us. You are one of the global experts working on the adaptation agenda and also the interconnection with water. And Ose, usually when we are talking about climate change issues and young people, then they said, okay, when we are talking about climate change, there is a very strong reference about mitigation and energy. But when people are talking about adaptation, there is this strong connection with water. And then I would like that you explain a bit more what is this interconnection between water and climate change, but also maybe if you can share with us some of the examples about the impacts, maybe in the agriculture sector or urban setting, or maybe in the coastal areas. Over to you, Asi.
Thank you very much, Adriana, and glad to be here. And as you may know already, that we have higher temperatures, and that means that there's more water being can be held in the air. So it's almost per 1 degree, it's like 2 to 3% more moisture can be held by the air. And so the air has then the more heavy rainfalls are possible, and then with that floods. But there's also warmer temperatures also mean more evaporation. So, and this dries out the soil, and it dries out, so difficult for plants to grow. So, and it makes warm areas much, much more drier. So, for example, in the Horn of Africa, it's 100 times more drier due to climate change. Because not only because it rains less, but also because of this evaporation. So, and then of course we have the higher temperatures, melts, ice caps, and glaciers, but also the warmer oceans are expanding. So that and expanding means more volume of sea. So that also contributes to the rising. And the continents are drying out, so we get more water in the sea, less on land. And we have salt water then with the sea level rise coming higher to our coasts, making the coasts and all the land more saline, difficult to grow crops, for example. And we have, for example, different seasonality, which means that it rains in the wrong season. You can say that if you grow crops and suddenly you have a drought, yeah, your crop is going to die before it's ready to harvest. So that is a big, big problem also, what we see. And yeah, and I would say, yeah, we have also, of course, we have the wildfires coming as a consequence of droughts as well. And what I would say, some impacts in some sectors, yeah, we have, of course, together with an increasing demand also for water, it's very, very, the agricultural sector is very, very important to really think about in the future. How are we going to grow more food because the population is rising with less water? So that is a big, 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 and what we need to think about is also maybe alternative ways of agriculture, but we can come to that in the solution space. On the urban areas, they are rapidly growing. And of course, with less water, we are actually facing that the urban areas can't grow as they want to grow because of lack of water. So there's a lot of economic activity at stake, and all the infrastructure is not being built for a future wetter or drier climate. So we also have to adapt that in the urban space. And energy, not the least. We have a lot of, maybe we don't think about that, but a lot of our energy forms, hydropower, oil, gas, and nuclear, are water depending. So for example, even in a water, you can say, country like Norway, a few years ago had really to think about what we need to think about water here, because we're seeing a scarcity that is threatening our energy supply. So it's a really a big problem coming up for multiple sectors. So that's why it's also so important to look at cross-sectoral when it comes to climate adaptation.
Fantastic. Salim.
Yes, thank you, Åse. So we are wondering, could you explain a little bit more about what is specifically driving floods and droughts? Could you elaborate a little bit more, because you touched already on it, but we would like to understand a bit better.
Absolutely. And what we see is an increase intensity of extreme droughts and extreme rainfall at the same time. So, and then we see why is that? And it has increased sharply in the past decades. And for example, in the tropics, excuse me, it has quadrupled. So 4 times more floods and doubled in the northern latitude. And we can see that it's kind of that they are firing each other, fueling each other, like the floods they fuel the droughts and vice versa. So for example, there is a more extreme, can say extremes in the landscape, sudden shifts that we can see. For example, in a warm areas, we can see that there's more evaporation. And then of course, there's then more floods or rainwater in the clouds that can then suddenly flood. And then if you have a lot of rainfall in a dry area, you also get a lot of, that doesn't sink into the soil, it runs above the soil and creates lots of more floods.
Sophia.
Thank you, Ose. Because it's the Youth Adaptation Forum, I would like to ask you then what solutions can actually young people take to adapt to the increasing water-related impacts to climate change?
Yeah, I think young people have fresh thoughts. You know, you don't have this old way of thinking or ingrained, you could say, the way that we always, and this is what we need for learning. And we desperately need a new way of thinking. We need to, you can say, a lot of things, unlearn a lot of things that we have learned. We need to, so I think the young people have a very important role there. And to really, I think what is very close to my heart is the ecosystem-based approaches. So I think that, and at the moment, our current system is not really set up to, you can say, enable that. And what we need is new innovative thinking to really look at, okay, but we know that these solutions are very good, and why aren't they implemented? To see how can we change the system to really make it valuable. And for example, I mean, there are things like tree planting, and then I don't talk about, you can say, the role of only one or a few trees, but really like the whole ecosystem, forests. It's important to think, I think, on the ecosystem scale, because we know that, for example, forests can provide cooler environments. And they can really provide, you can say, through drawing up water from the deeper groundwater, they can provide also more rain, because then through this evapotranspiration, it's like kind of the trees are sweating, you can say. So that's also just like humans are sweating to be cool. Trees are sweating to be cool, and the environment around it is cooler. So it's so important for nature to cool down the landscape. And this kind of thinking is not in the traditional, you could say, system or governance system or finance system. Trees and forests are not valued, they are being cut down, etc. So I think this new way of thinking are so important. And there's, of course, a lot more when it comes to you say these the ecosystems as a creating of services to humans, like drinking water, erosion, and so how can we also use nature to harvest, instead of having the water flush off like floods, really harvest it and to provide, you can say, replenish groundwater, so prevent drought at the same time. So droughts and floods are very much, management of the two are very much connected. And this, for example, in the current system is very siloed. So we actually deal with floods in a very siloed way, not across sectors. So really, I think young people can really help connecting, pulling together different people who should be talking to each other, who are not talking to each other, and raise the flag to the politicians. You know, you are, as a minister of water, you should also care for where the water is coming from. And how do we create the water? Yeah, through ecosystems, through forests, to trees, and this is the kind of knowledge we need to build and to have in our schools and for the training, etc. So there's a lot to step in and do.
Then some of the solutions that you mentioned is, for instance, use this ecosystem-based approach, tree planting, but also for all the young people and participants that are joining us today, what they can do, for instance, in their houses regarding the rainwater harvesting, how it can be used and how it can be scaled up to other places like schools or universities, and also what is the connection with this community cleaning of rivers and, for instance, the ocean?
Yeah, I think what we see more and more is that there's rainwater harvesting on, for example, school roofs. Either it can be a green roof that really absorbs the water for flood management, or it's you can say just running and being collected in a barrel as an important source of water. And I think that's something that schools can do to harvest water very locally. And of course, there are lots of things you can do in your garden to make sure that the water that rains is really staying in the garden, like lots of green, not any sort of sealed surfaces. And I think also for the community cleaning is also very important for that, because we see a lot of waste is clogging drains and clogging rivers, and that of course creates then it comes a rainfall. You have then the drains are not working because they're full, so you will get lots of flooding. So and contaminating then everything, going into toilets maybe, or going into flushing off dirt. And so I think the cleaning, waste management, it's very intricate. Everything is linked, so that you need to think about not just one thing for example, in an urban space, like collecting waste, but you also need to think about the rainfall and the drainage and the water supply and the toilets, etc. And yeah.
Thank you very much, Ase, and it's a call for an integrated and cross-sectoral approach and also action. Then I invite you to continue with us, and now we will move to hear from young people. We have heard that young people are affected by the impacts of climate change, and we will go to hear from Nelio Zungasa. Nelio, you are from Mozambique, and Mozambique has recently suffered many of the impacts of climate change. Nelio, welcome. I would like that you share with us your story. What has happened in Mozambique and how this impact has affected you and your family and your community? Over to you, Nelio.
Thank you. Thank you once again, Adriana. Gracias. Yeah, it what you say that well, usually we are still suffering in the last years with several impacts of extreme events, climate events, as cyclones, come with floods, with winds. But we have another part of our country still suffering with the drought inside of the country, like district don't see rain, like 5 or 6 years don't get rain there. And in Mozambique, most all of us, we're depending for agriculture sector. We know that agriculture sector depending for the water, depending for the rain of that. In last week, we suffering with Cyclone Filippo. It's affected 2 provinces there in Mozambique, like Inhambane and the Sofala province. Affected part of Maputo as the capital of the country. And the thing that's happened in Maputo specifically, it's about floods inside of neighborhoods and the community that don't have a good system to what I can say, to canalize the water for the specific areas. But in Inhambane and Sofala, the situation is bad because the wind destroyed for the public infrastructure, schools, hospital, and degraded the road system there. And this event have a big impact in the life of youth and children there. First time that about the resource, about what we're depending for live, for provide income generation for the families. Second one, the education system, that we saw the school destroyed, we saw the hospital, and sometimes in the area that we have schools in the good situation, the government and another agency are using the schools of the emergency space to put the people lose his house or his space. So it is a thing happened there, and we are still working with different key actors, as government, as non-government, partner like UN and otherwise. So we feel like we as youth and we as youth network, we need that to reinforce our action. We need that to reinforce our capacity to respond this in the first time when it is happening. But because the reports, the scientific reports say that in the next years we will have the same situation in along of the different provinces of our country. So we are still working this to reinforce this capacity to respond, to participate, to be part of the answer, of this situation, it will be strange in the next time to build the resilience to adaptation with our infrastructure, with our agriculture system, and to create the system to preserve this water. Because we have in the short time the big rain, winds, and floods, but in another part of here we don't have rain, we don't have water for agriculture, for animals, for people, and the other thing that we need. So we are still in this game now. For example, now I'm outside of my country to ask some partners, to ask some connection to reinforce this response in our part. The government do his part, but we need to do our part. More than 80% of population in Mozambique is under 35 years old. So the youth have responsibility to respond something in this process. Only 20% it's adult guys. So we need to be part, we need to respond this, because we are mass suffering, we are several suffering for this infants. So in the short thing, it's what's happened related for the last cyclone Filippo, and resume for another cyclone like Idai, Anna, Kennedy, and otherwise that we're suffering in the last 5 years. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nelio. And as we can see, it is a concrete example how climate change is impacting the life of people and also just destroying infrastructure and life. Then now we are going to move to hear from change makers, young change makers who are implementing adaptation solutions related to water. And I want to invite Cindy Dui Islami. She is from Indonesia, and she's also the founder of the Youth with Sanitation Concern. Cindy, then I would like that you just share with us what is happening in Indonesia. You know, what is the initiative that you are leading? What have been these key results? And what would you say to young people that are listening you about what they can do to implement these adaptation and water solutions? Over to you, Cindy.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Once again, I'm from Indonesia. I'm leader of Youth with Sanitation Concern. We active voicing and taking action to support water, sanitation, and hygiene issue. And then today, maybe I'm gonna share about our project still running. The name is Save Our Sea, addressing fecal contamination in coastal area in Bandar Lampung City, which is I'm living now. Indonesia is a maritime country, so my city also close to the ocean. We are a coastal city, and we found out there is a problem in the coastal settlement, which is there's a lack of sanitation, like infrastructure. There is no septic tank from the settlement above the sea. You can see there's a situation, and then we can't imagine like where is the fecal go? Like of course it's pollute the ocean like without management. That's why I and my friend and all of the team, we together tried to find solution how to solve this problem, because based on the government data, like 98% urban village in my city already open defecation free, which means good, but where is the 2%? The 2% problem is the coastal settlement. That's why we gotta try to find solution. And then we did some research like journal studies. We gonna find what the best technology or effective technology to implement in this kind of typology settlement. And based on the research, we found out there are several technology like floating, septic tank, and kinds. But this one discovered by Gajah Mada University professor, the name is Tripicon S. It's very complicated to describe the system, but this is, we modified the tanky septic tank Tripicon S, and then we implement to the coastal settlement. And we tried to seeking funding together to support our research development action. And then we got support from International Secretariat for Water, and also Swiss Agency. And we together with the stakeholders, community, local youth, government, NGO, and staff, we try to encourage participatory approach. We try to collaboration, and then we manufacturing together. We install together. Also, we're gonna maintenance together, monitoring, evaluation, and then the result is 9 households have installed this technology. The name is Tripicon S Septic Tank. And yeah, I mean, during the project, it's many challenges we face because we try to encourage participatory planning. We have to encourage the community first and make sure that they want to involve and agree to manufacture, install, and stock, and also collaborate every stakeholder with different background. Make sure them like involved and then working together to success this project. Thank you very much. Maybe just simple story about our project, but it's mean a lot for us.
Fantastic, Cindy, and congratulations. These are the small initiatives that can make a big transformation and change. Thank you very much. Then let's continue with this presentation and sharing stories of change. Salim.
Yes, thank you, Cindy. Very inspiring to hear your story. Next, we will hear from Ariel Golden. He is from Watershed Council, Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico. Ariel, please share with us what's happening in your country and what problems did you face? What initiatives did you establish? What is the impact and what recommendations do you have for young people with a similar experience?
Yes, Salim, thank you very much. Today I want to share some experiences from a project I did in the Yucatan Peninsula in southern Mexico. This region has one of the largest karstic aquifers in the world. This means that this region, that is half the size of Germany, there is not one single river, as every drop of rain that falls on the ground either evaporates or infiltrates into the highly porous ground. This amazing and unique water system has created the perception that this region has enough water to fuel almost endless growth. However, due to climate change, this idea cannot hold anymore. Recent models show that there are very high risks of salinization and the reduction of recharge. And these risks become even more dangerous as the population is vulnerable due to marginalization and high density of rural and indigenous population. Our project was to design the regional water management program. To develop this instrument, we needed to conduct a participatory process, but it was 2020. So we had the enormous challenge of ensuring meaningful and sufficient participation during the pandemics. But luckily, through creativity and the help of many, we not only managed to overcome this challenge, but we even turned it into an opportunity. We first started with an online process that allowed us to achieve one of the largest participatory processes for an instrument like this. However, it became apparent that by having an online process, we were leaving some people out. Here's when an amazing team of young volunteers called Jacanules, Water Guardians in Mayan, came through and began to conduct in-person as well as telephone interviews with indigenous and rural communities with less internet access. Once we had all of this diversity of perspective, we needed to make sure that they would actually be used to develop the document. So as in any adaptation policy, it is necessary to integrate and value diverse sources of knowledge, from IPCC reports and scientific models to individual experiences. Finally, we developed some interactive decision support tools so that local governments could use the insights of our process to design their policies and interventions. So to conclude, I believe that young people are key to design the policy instruments that we need to live in a warmer planet. But our roles go beyond making our voices be heard, because we know that our underrepresented voices are not the only underrepresented ones. And because we have unique tools to make these voices be heard and useful, because our generation has rejected the paradigm of specialization, and we are more and more multidisciplinary. And we also rejected the paradigm of sectorization, as we know that we don't have to choose between being activists, researchers, entrepreneurs, or politicians. This makes us highly valuable to make sure that the diverse sources of knowledge and voices are integrated into policy instruments. I believe that there is a revolution coming on how we make decisions, that our generation will lead, and it will be ever more inclusive and horizontal. To do so, we will build and value what previous generations did, but we are also not afraid to challenge it, because we know that fixing the problem for some is fixing it for none. Thank you very much, Tani.
Thank you very much, Ariel, for sharing your personal experience and story. I would like now to welcome Daniel Coto-Dagnon to share his story too. He's the president of the Benin Network of the World Youth for Water Parliament. Welcome, Daniel. Similar to the question Salim posed to Ariel, I would like to ask you also to share with us what is happening in your country and what problems you face, what initiatives you established, the impact, and any recommendations you may have for young people based on your experience.
Okay, thank you so much, Sophia. Hi, everyone. Sorry, I can't open my camera since I don't have good internet connection. I can just open it quickly to say hi to everyone. I will turn off again. So first of all, I want to wish you all a happy World Water Day. This is your day. You have to really take this day to think about how you can contribute to water issues. And when we take the case of Benin, before addressing it, I want to highlight that it has been said at the beginning of the call that climate crisis is water crisis. When we want to even when we want to think about the main impact of climate crisis, we can more felt it by its impact in water cycle. We talk about drought, we talk about heavy rain season, we talk about rising of sea level. And for the case of Benin, the most impact that we feel is related to flood. Each year, the frequency of the flood are rising up with many impacts. Even the last year in 2023, we have 36 provinces in Benin here that have been affected by flood, and more than 300 schools have been devastated, and hospital as well. So this is the main issue that we face, and this is on the Benin, essentially in the Weme Basin. You know, in Benin, we have the second richest valley, I would say, yes, valley in the world after the Nile Valley. And this is really affecting the economic and local areas. That's why with my organization, we start thinking about how we can really address these challenges. And when, as I used to say to every youth, when you have to start one project, you don't need to start something big. You don't need to directly try to build up something that will be really bigger than what I've been done in the past. Just try to implement some projects, think about what innovative idea you can put on the table, try to make it step by step, try to make one project, pilot project, and then if you have good success, or maybe I would say if you have good impact, you can try to level up. And this is what you have done. You know, when the water cycle is affected, the better way to try to stabilize the water cycle is really by using planting, by using trees. You know, is the most simplest way to address the issue. You have to just plant trees. But we don't need to only plant trees in my organization. We know that each year, especially for during the national celebration of Trees Day, many people used to plant trees. But the thing that we don't see really after that is how we can really take care of the plant that we used to plant at the planting days. And we try to adopt a new methodology for that. First, we think about innovative approach. We really choose one precise place in the south of Benin, and with youth-led based organization based in south of Benin, and also local communities, we identify a degraded area where we can really have we can plant trees, and then it can have really impact on the local place, but also it can really contribute to reduce the flood that occur on this place. And we first work with local communities to identify this place, and then we start the campaign of reforestation on this place. And we use technology by developing a digital sensor to be able to follow the growing of the plant that we used to plant, and then we can know when maybe what is the level of development of the trees that we plant, and then how we can maybe change the way that we take care of this plant. And we also launch a challenge with 15 youth-led organizations based on this place. They have to come every week since June last year. They have to come every week to take care of the plants that we used to plant, and then the youth organization that have been most active receive a grant. This grant should help him to implement another project related to water and climate. So this is a way for us to really encourage this youth to take care of all the plants that we have to plant these projects. And then the last thing is we use user tires to protect the plant. You know, with climate change, we have to really think about how we can recycle all our waste, how we can develop better practices around this issue. So to protect the plant, we use tires to protect it from to protect all the plants that we have to make to do during this project. This is the last innovative approach, and then maybe you can go to the next please move to the okay. So this is the pictures of all the youth involved in this project with the support of Germany corporation here in Benin. And this is a pilot project, as I said. We only used to plant 100 trees, but for the scaling up of this project, since we have really good impact, good I would say positive impact on the project. We want to now plant more than 5,000 trees and then develop 5,000 digital sensors to monitor the growth of the plant and involve more than 13 youth-led organizations in the challenge, and then give them more funding for the project that they have to implement if they win this challenge. So based on this approach, I want to really ask to all the youth, you don't have, as I said at the beginning, to have really big project to start. Just start the easiest way for you that you can start. Try to have really impact. You know, I prefer to always prioritize quality than quantity. What is the real impact of your action on the local place that you identify, and then how you can level up this impact to have a wider impact. So this is the story that I want to share with you, and thank you again for the invitation.
Thank you, Daniel. That's impressive. Thank you. Adriana, back to you.
Thanks a lot. And then we will hear from the last good practice that we have. The Global Center on Adaptation organizes every year a competition that is called the Youth Adapt. And I am delighted to welcome Ulaya Malawi. He is from Malawi, and he has an initiative about implementing water irrigation system and also how to improve the farming system. Then over to you, Ulaya.
Thank you so much, Adriana. Yeah, so I'm from Malawi, and Malawi is found in the central of Africa. Of course, we are part of the Southern African community, but we're more in the central compared to our friends Mozambique and other countries. So of late, we have seen a number of impacts of the changing climate on water. And most of them, I mean, mainly have been related to droughts and floods. You would have floods in one part of the country, the southern part, which is closer to Mozambique. So whenever a cyclone hits Mozambique, it actually also hits the southern part of Malawi because it is closer to Mozambique. And then the northern part has been facing droughts frequently. And also the central part has also had some flash floods. This has resulted to water scarcities. We have compromised water quality because of the floods and droughts. The impact has been reduced agricultural productivity, public health issues. We have had one of, I think, the most intense cholera outbreak in the last 2 years. Yet there have been so much impact, so much investment on water access throughout the country. We also have experienced challenges in terms of water management. as Ose actually highlighted, the tricky part of climate change is that you would have very good rainfall, but in a wrong season. So people are not prepared to grow crops, but that's when you are getting the best of the rains. And then have a drought when you're supposed to have rains. Because of that, the impact is very huge on water management and actually the agricultural productivity itself. So what we've done at Swift is that instead of an engineering company focusing on already made designs, already made projects, we have taken a step ahead to start developing projects. So these projects have to respond to climate change adaptation. They have to be sustainable. They have to be efficient. So what we do is we engineer projects. We look for financing for our clients so that we can give them better options in terms of as far as climate change adaptation is concerned. We established ourselves to tackle climate change impacts on water resources, and our emphasis is mainly on sustainable adaptation. What motivated us was the focus actually on mitigating climate impacts on water. We also want to drive the change in climate adaptation and water management. Our systems, they've got a three-dimensional approach towards climate change. One, we have to provide reliability. Reliability is in terms of diversifying the water sources. Because of climate change, we might have less surface water, so would actually design a water supply system that would actually have both surface water and groundwater. At the same time, we also have treatment systems that can treat any source of water, be it saline, be it industrial water, be it gray water. We can treat it to perfection. So the other driving factor has been actually the need for us to support and empower communities which are facing water challenges as a result of climate change. Previously, a lot of communities in Malawi, they could actually get water from as shallow as 3 meters, good quality water. But now, because of climate change, that is no longer possible. So we need to look at the ways which can make these communities adapt. So we build solar-powered water supply systems that reticulate across villages. And these villages, they have got power actually to manage them together with us as an engineering company. We also develop solutions for immediate needs and future resilience. So we would want actually our communities, the communities that we serve, our clients, to have resilience against climate change. Our grid is mostly from hydro power, and once there is a cyclone, let's say for instance, Cyclone Freddy, actually washed away one of our hydropower stations. So it means we had shortage in terms of power. What we are doing now is we are providing on-site options for our clients, and these on-site options have to be renewable. So it can, mostly we're doing solar as of now, but also developing wind systems for us actually to diversify in terms of the energy sources. We have made it clear to all our farmers that the best approach towards irrigation is using drip, because that's most efficient. And we don't want to lie to ourselves that water is still available in Malawi. So we have trained all of them to look at very efficient ways of using water. So our goal is that by the end of the day, we need to enhance water management and promote resilience, sustainable future for Malawi and beyond. We are also crossing to Zambia and Mozambique this year. would be glad actually to work in these countries as well. There's been
And just for the, as we are checking the time, I would like that you share with us, like from your experience, you are creating jobs, you are working with communities. What will be your recommendation for other youth that would like to also start a business? Very brief, what you will recommend to them?
Yeah, my recommendation is start now, one. Two is let's look at the approaches that would actually make communities more resilient. Enterprise those initiatives. That's the only way they can be sustainable. Yeah, I think that those are the two recommendations that I can make to my fellow youth. Thank you.
Fantastic, Ulaya. Thank you very much. And you are, again, congratulations. You are one of the winners of the Youth Adapt competition. Then we will go to a Mentimeter to continue listening from you. But before, we have some questions. Then, Lauren, I have seen that we have some questions in the chat. Please read some of the questions. And what we will do is very briefly, yes, we will give the opportunity to our panelists to reply. Very brief. Over to you, Lauren.
Thank you so much, Adriana. And I hope that everyone can hear me. I will read out the two questions. So the first question we have is, how can we have this initiative in all countries? So that question was for Cindy, and we have the same question for Ulaya. So what I encourage all the panelists to do is to share in the chat how people can connect with you and how they can connect with your initiatives in your countries. But Cindy and Ulaya, I give you the floor to respond on how people in different countries can share these initiatives. Thank you, Adriana.
Cindy?
Okay. Relate to the question how they can implement in their country, maybe I'm gonna share our community email so they can contact directly through the email. I'm gonna share on the chat box. Thank you.
Ulaya?
Sorry, can you come again on the question? Sorry.
The question was, how can people implement your initiative in their country?
Yeah, so they can get in touch with us. We will share our contacts. We are also actually actively moving in the southern region, Africa. So I think in the next 2 years, we should be in most of the African countries in the southern region. Thank you.
Fantastic. And then let's move, Sophia, with some of the questions that we have for Mentimeter. Over to you.
Thank you, Adriana. So just as a reminder, you can go to menti.com, enter the code 81623752, 81623752, and we would like to hear from you. So let us know what you think pertaining to the question, what can young people do to engage with water-related adaptation solutions? And you can find, again, the link and the number in the chat for those that couldn't follow the code. It's also being projected right now. But yeah, let us know what your thoughts are on this.
And in the meantime, that we'll receive the responses, remember, use your mobile phone or your laptop and write down the code 81623752 and share with us your responses. In the meantime, I would like to invite all the members of this Youth Adaptation Forum to share very briefly, maybe each one of you maximum 30 seconds. Then what is your response about how young people can be engaged, what is needed, and how people can be engaged in the adaptation solutions? And I want to give you the opportunity all. Then we will start with Delio. Delio, what do you think is needed? And how can young people engage in this agenda?
Sorry, you say Nelio or Delio?
Nelio.
Okay, thank you. In my opinion, in our experience, I think first of all is that to do networking, we've all joined the resource for another organization of youth or something like this. Because sometimes we would like to implement something or would like to do something like insulated or for example, one organization only. But we feel like if we get to work with a network, it's easy to get a solution, it's easy to get a support, and it's easy to build it together. Another thing is what some colleagues said here, that we need to start to implement the small initiative. Sometimes we can think like the small initiative that does not give us a big difference, but if we start too small, for example, to plant the trees or to take some academic research initiative that to start to implement in the community, we get in the way that to build the big thing in the 2 or 3 years after we starting this activity. In Mozambique, for example, we are still implementing some project we call that Por un Mundo Mais Verde. Like we need to plant we propose how to plant for 20,000 trees. Until now, we do 5,000 trees in the third province. We start in the third province. Now this campaign is going grow and take another province. So we start to plant in the one district, in the one province. So now we are going for the whole country. Yesterday we planting approximately 2,000 in different province, of our country. So my suggest that we join our energies, our capacity, and after that we participate for this event like this, where we can know that the people have experience for another country, for another regions, and we change this experience. We don't have to copy the good things. Copy is a part for build, is a part to big, to take it and to implement in our country. Thank you.
Thank you. And then I will encourage our panelists to be very brief, just on mind of the time. Then Cindy, what do you think?
Okay. Well, I think like for young people like us to do something, we're gonna start do something like a little action, and then don't think about the funding or something finance, because if we try hard to do something about the climate action or things, it's gonna be, there is a way to do something, no matter how the way, but just do it, even a small thing. And we believe that our small action related to climate and then whatever water sanitation or hygiene is gonna be works, and then make a connection relation, involve the stakeholder, even government, all the elements, and then through this collaboration we can implement what we're gonna do in action to support climate change.
Fantastic. And Ariel, what do you think?
Thank you, Adriana. I believe that most of the water officials that are currently shaping policy right now are engineers and are proposing a very supply side approach. And I believe that the solutions that we need require a more holistic approach. So if we as young people are trained in this approach to tackle the challenges much more holistically, we will be bringing something new and necessary to the decision-making table. And I believe that is our way in.
Thank you. And Daniel, what do you think?
Laya or me?
You, Daniel.
Okay. For me to be just capacity building, this is the first point. We need to have specific competencies on water-related challenge or water and climate change issues. You know, I'm the assistant coordinator of the Youth Adaptation Program, which aim to prepare the next negotiator on climate change for youth in Benin. And when we start with this program, we have many youth that are really engaged. They are activists. They are advocates for many kind of issues related to environment, but they lack technical competencies sometimes. So we have to first build these technical competencies and then allow them to be engaged in COP27 last on the first program, and then COP28 last year, and also this year we'll also have new cohort. So we have as you to have really technical competencies to be really to have really huge impact on the issue that we are advocating for. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Anulaya.
Yeah, I think you are. The first is networking. Let's have more fora like these ones. It will help us actually to motivate the young people to be engaged on these water adaptations. Then next, I mean, the second one is to enterprise the initiatives. I believe sustainability can only be achieved if these initiatives are able to generate something internally. Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic. What do you think, Salim?
Yes, so I agree with Nelio and Ulaya. I think networking is key, but most of all, youth inspires other youth. So we need more of these events that like inspire us, that we can showcase our project, and that we can take these ideas and implement them in our own contexts. So that's my main thing.
And Sophia?
Thank you, Adriana. Yeah, I think I would like to echo what everybody else has said, specifically in terms of there's no need to implement a very big solution. All contributions are worthy and are key. At the end of the day, it's usually said that water is to climate adaptation, what carbon is to climate mitigation. So whatever you're doing in terms of water, freshwater ecosystems, or even ocean ecosystems, you're already doing something. And that's, I think, a great thing to keep in mind.
Fantastic. And as now you have heard from young people around the world, they are implementing solutions, they have ideas and recommendations, and they are not waiting. They are taking action now. What will be your recommendation and your final thought for all of them and for the young people that are joining us online?
I would say fantastic contributions, and just I would say continue believing in what you do and yourself. Sometimes it can feel a bit, I think, difficult in those situations where you are not reaching all the way that you want to reach, but just continue having the vision and the leadership that you have. That is what I would say, but also like a lot of nice contributions and ideas. And to add to that, I would say I think the adaptation and water world, the issues are sometimes a bit owned by the engineers. And I would say that we need good young people to educate themselves in legal issues, finance, governance, and really, you can say to also have lots of capacity to talk about these issues in a holistic way that was mentioned. So.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you, Asi, and to all our extraordinary speakers for sharing your initiative, your project, your thoughts. As you mentioned, we need more networking, capacity building, changing the narrative, and creating these platforms. Then we want to invite you to the next Youth Adaptation Forums. It is the second of a series of 6. Then we have, if we can share the slide, because I would like to invite you all. The next Youth Adaptation Forum will take place on the 22nd of April, and it will be about climate resilient agriculture. Later, we will move on the 8th of May. We will discuss the topic about nature-based solutions and climate resilient infrastructure. On the 15th of July, we will discuss about youth entrepreneurship, adaptation, jobs, and finance. And on the 12th of August, that is the International Youth Day, we will have the forum about locally led adaptation. Then for all of you, if you are not yet part of the Global Youth Adaptation Network, we want to invite you. Then, Nicolo, what is the Youth Adaptation Network and how young people can be part?
Thank you, Adriana. And hi, everyone. I'm Nicolo Del Porto. I'm a Youth Leadership and Education Officer here at the Global Center on Adaptation. And we would like to invite you to join the Youth Adaptation Network. The Youth Adaptation Network is the largest network of young people engaged with climate adaptation actions and solutions worldwide, with over 15,000 young people already part of the network. It is a space for you to share opportunities, to learn more about GCA's work, and to get some more understanding of the global youth adaptation movement and to move forward with your solutions and your ideas. So if you can share, scan the QR code that you will see on the screen, you will get to register to the Youth Adaptation Network newsletter. It is the space where the Youth Leadership and Education Program shares all the opportunities for you. And also, if you have any opportunities from your side that you would like the Youth Adaptation Movement to access, please reach out to us at youth@gca.org. And please do register for the Youth Adaptation Network. It is your chance to become part of a global movement of young people on climate adaptation. Back to you, Adriana. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you to all of you. An invitation to be part of the Youth Adaptation Network, to join the Youth Adaptation Forums, to be part of the Youth Adaptation Movement. We have a challenge that is climate change, but also we have a unique opportunity to tackle. And we have this platform to change, to showcase good practices. Then thank you to all of you. We want to invite you to turn on your cameras to all the participants that are there, to take a family photo to celebrate not only the Youth Adaptation Forum on water, but especially also to make a call to action, and to have an integrated approach for adaptation solutions, and adaptation solutions also focusing on water. Then for all of you, please turn on the camera. I also would like to use the opportunity to thank the team that has been working to make this forum together, to Lauren, Nicolo, to our communication team, Celine and Julene, and to all our speakers for making this a fantastic platform to share very inspiring stories. And to all of you, I would like our colleagues to guide us for this family photo. Just tell us when we can take, Celine, if we can take now the family photo, or what do we need to do for the family photo? Over to you, Celine. I think that we have. Then maybe if we, in the communication team, Julene, Celine, if you can help us with the photo, guide us. Oh, and to all of you, just a big smile for this Youth Adaptation Forum that we can also celebrate. And I will encourage you to use the hashtag Youth for Adaptation and share your takeaways. What are these takeaways? What are the recommendations? What is your message around the world? And tell the world that you have been participating in this forum and what you want to share. You are an educator and communicator through your social media channels. Then maybe, Nicolo, you guide us for the family photo?
All right. So please, everyone, a big smile. And I will say 3, we will take a family photo, and we can all say Youth for Adaptation. So it will be 3, 2, 1. Youth for Adaptation. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have an excellent day, and let's continue making the call for the water adaptation solutions. Have an excellent day.
You too. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.